Okay, let's unpack this. Adam Doerr's vision. It's not just about jobs changing, is it? He's talking about the obliteration of the entire human labor market.
Yeah, obliteration. It's a strong word.
By 2045, no less. I mean, for those of us watching AI and automation, that timeline feels, well, incredibly fast.
It's definitely aggressive.
So what's the real core of his argument? Why does he think this is not just possible, but pretty much inevitable?
Well, I think that's what makes this Guardian interview so compelling. We're going to do a deep dive into it today.
Right. Our mission really is to explore these predictions he makes. They're stark, no doubt, but there's this surprising optimism tucked in there, too.
There really is.
We need to look at how robots, how AI might just completely reshape, the global economy, our lives, maybe even what being human means.
And what's really interesting, I think, is Doerr's background. He isn't just, pulling this out of thin air.
No, he's a social scientist, right? Director of research at RethinkX.
Exactly. And his team, they've studied these huge patterns of technological change, literally over millennia.
Wow, millennia.
So this historical view, that's what's driving these conclusions. It gives them weight, even if they sound, well, frankly, a bit unsettling for many people. He's seeing these big systemic shifts happening again.
He definitely is. And that headline prediction, robots and AI dominating the economy within a generation.
A single generation.
Putting, and this is his quote, virtually the entire human race out of a job in maybe 20 years. Obliterating the labor market by 2045. I mean, wow.
It's a lot to take in.
So what's the fundamental reason why make such a radical claim?
If you connect the dots the way he does, Doerr basically argues that technology's target has changed. It used to automate specific tasks, right?
Right, like factory work, data entry.
Exactly. But now the target is, well, it's us. It's human labor itself in a much broader sense.
Okay.
And the reasoning fundamentally is pretty straightforward economics, actually. Machines will soon do almost any task as well as us, maybe better.
And crucially,
As he says, for a fraction of the cost.
the cost factor.
Yeah. When he mentions machines that can think, LLMs, advanced robotics, these aren't just doing narrow tasks anymore. They're becoming more versatile.
More general purpose.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And he points to this pattern saying costs are improving consistently, capabilities are improving consistently. He's seen it before.
So if it's the same or better for less money?
His point is switching is a no-brainer. From an economic standpoint, he sees it as inevitable.
And he uses some really powerful analogies to get this across, doesn't he? The scale of it.
He does. They're quite vivid.
Like what cars did to the horse and cart industry. Or electricity to gas lamps, digital cameras completely wiping out Kodak. He says those are the templates for what's coming.
Right. Models for disruption.
But then here's the bit that really hits home. He just says it bluntly. We're the horses. We're the film cameras. It's such a stark comparison. Is human labor really like a horse? A technology that just becomes obsolete? Or is something else going on?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Historically, yeah, we've seen displacement, but humans adapt. We create new kinds of value.
We find new things to do.
Exactly. But Doerr would probably argue that the speed this time is different. He says it will be faster than most people think.
Faster.
Based on what? His team looked at over 1,500 tech transformations throughout history.
1,500, wow.
Yeah. And they found this consistent pattern. Once a new tech gets just a small foothold, like a few % of market share or even just mind share, it tends to achieve overwhelming dominance within 15 to 20 years. He thinks that pattern is a reliable indicator for AI and robotics now.
So he's saying the historical speed of adoption is the key predictor here, even for something as complex as AI.
He argues the underlying drivers, cost, capability, economic advantage are fundamentally similar. Yeah. And that leads to this really urgent implication, which is, as he puts it, machines that can think are here, and their capabilities are expanding day by day with no end in sight.
Okay.
So his conclusion, we don't have that long to get ready for this. We know it's going to be tumultuous. He's really sounding the alarm.
Tumultuous. It's hard to even imagine, really, a world where humans are just in the way.
It's a difficult concept.
He talks about this idea, an interregnum. What's that about?
Like a temporary phase, a transition period. He compares it to when chess grandmasters actually teamed up with chess programs for a while.
Ah, centaur chess, right. Human plus machine.
Exactly. But then comes the kicker.
Let me guess.
But sooner rather than later, humans will just be in the way.
Yeah.
Machines get too good on their own.
So that human-machine collaboration is just temporary, a stopgap.
According to Dorr, yes.
So if humans eventually get sidelined, even in that scenario, does he see any jobs sticking around, any long-term roles for people, or is it really just bleak?
He does acknowledge what he calls a niche for human labor in some domains.
Okay,
He gives examples like sports coaches, politicians, sex workers, ethicists, sort of specialized, maybe inherently human roles.
Interesting mix, but...
But, and this is the crucial point he makes, the problem is that there are nowhere near enough of those occupations to employ 4 billion people.
Right. It's not a solution for the masses, it's just niches.
Exactly. He's very clear these aren't scalable answers to what could be mass unemployment.
Okay, so he lays out this incredibly challenging picture for jobs, for the economy, and then the article calls it a jarring blast of optimism. Where does that come from?
It seems contradictory at first, doesn't it?
A little bit. How do you get from we're the horses to optimism? Is it just this idea of superabundance?
Well, superabundance is a big part of it, but it's maybe more about the potential it unlocks.
Okay.
When he talks about superabundance, imagine a world where automated production makes goods and services incredibly cheap, almost universally available.
Right. The cost of everything plummets because machines do the work.
Precisely. And and it's a big if we handle that transition well, he believes this revolution could genuinely liberate humanity.
Liberate us from work.
From the necessity of traditional labor, essentially.
Yeah.
But here's the massive caveat he includes.
There's always a catch.
Handled badly, it could lead to new extremes of inequality and oligarchy.
So the same tech could free us, or it could create this, hyper-capitalist dystopia where a few own all the robots.
That seems to be the dichotomy he's presenting. The stakes are incredibly high.
So how do we make sure we end up on the liberation side of that equation, according to him?
Well, that's where the societal challenge comes in. He says our current ways of doing things, our venerable institutions and practices may no longer be fit for purpose.
Our economic systems, political systems?
Everything might need a rethink. He argues societies have to prepare urgently. We need to devise a set of guiding principles and reevaluate concepts such as value, price, and distribution.
Reevaluate value itself. That's huge.
It is. And he really pushes for trying things out now. He says, we need to experiment now and try out new ownership structures, new stakeholder structures.
So things like universal basic income, different corporate models.
Potentially, yes.
Yeah.
But what's refreshing, maybe, is his honesty. He admits, I don't have the answers. We don't even know if we have the right questions.
Is that humility helpful, though? Or does it leave us kind of rudderless when facing such a massive shift?
That's a really good question. Is it a necessary starting point for us all to figure it out together, or does it risk inaction? Hard to say.
And how does he see people actually living in this work-free future, finding meaning? He mentions looking at aristocrats.
Yeah, the tiny sliver of society throughout history who didn't need to work for a living. How did they fill their time?
Right. Though, as he points out, some were just spoiled rich brats, aimless and maybe miserable.
True. He acknowledges that. And he also notes that previous predictions of a leisure society turned out spectacularly wrong. People just found new work.
But he thinks this time is different.
He believes this time it really will happen. The nature of the technology machines that can think is the game changer, in his view.
So where does the meaning come from, if not work and not just, being idle?
He lands on something that sounds, well, maybe a bit simple at first, but also quite profound.
Okay.
He suggests meaning will primarily come from our relationships with our friends and family and our connections to our communities.
Back to basics, in a way.
He even says, it sounds sappy, but I think it's deeply true. He's betting that when the pressure of economic survival is lifted, we'll reinvest in human connection.
Challenging us to think about what really matters beyond productivity, I suppose.
Definitely. And you mentioned his book, Brighter, Optimism, Progress, and the Future of Environmentalism. It shows this isn't just a one-off optimistic take. He seems genuinely hopeful about humanity's ability to navigate big challenges.
So it's quite a journey he maps out, from job obliteration, we're the horses, all the way to a future potentially rooted in relationships and community.
It's a huge leap, conceptually, but he sees that as the path forward.
Well, this deep dive really highlights Adam Dorr's vision, doesn't it? It's incredibly provocative. The foundations of work as we know it potentially just gone.
Utterly transformed, yeah.
But at the same time, this glimmer of unexpected liberation for humanity itself. It's such a tense pairing. Massive disruption, massive potential.
And that really crystallizes the challenge, I think. If this tech shift is inevitable and is as fast as he predicts, how on earth do we shift our thinking, our societies, our institutions fast enough to grab that superabundance future he talks about?
Instead of falling into the trap of...
Instead of descending into those new extremes of inequality, it really boils down to foresight, adaptation, and maybe a huge amount of collective will.
It really does. Which leaves us with a pretty big question for you, the listener, doesn't it? If this future of, let's say, widespread leisure and redefined purpose is coming, what values, personal values, societal values, do you think we need to start cultivating right now? What becomes most important on the other side of work?